my $3,000 Valentino Rockstud purse, my $3,000 Prada jacket, $2,000 Prada shirt, $2,000 or $3,000 Prada pants, Prada glasses, Prada hat, Prada bracelet, and it's all product, Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off. Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off.
G'day everybody, welcome to the Crypto Happy Hour, and g'day there to my old mate Ross Green. How you going, mate?
Very good. How are you?
Pretty good. You stuck in the back door with in the intro there. I like that. That was good.
Yeah, snuck in. Yeah, well, I felt sorry for you. You said you had no one else joining for you, so I better join.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I was fully about to just go through like turbo speed and just go through it like a million charts and just. Yeah, but no, good to have someone else to chat to. So thanks for coming on, man.
Well,
yeah. So it's been another hectic week. Like it's like this season of crypto is just out of control, and every week there's something going on. There was the whole was it the DeepSeek AI drama last weekend, and everything crashed, and then we're back already, and just volatility, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's for me why I'm in the long game. You know, if traders want to speculate and all that lot, that's fine. That's up to them. But for me, it's the long game. And yeah, it bounced back very quickly. Bitcoin's back to pretty decent levels, and so is the rest of the market. So yeah, all good for me.
Yeah, I think we were pretty confident. We talked about that. The Pi cycle top indicators hadn't triggered. There's a few other 200-week SMA that hadn't triggered. So there was quite a few that we thought were sort of indicating that we still had plenty of time to go. Plus, just the 4-year cycle is like not until November, anyway. So I think, insert, cliche here, but it seems like we haven't even really started. It's just the beginning of the alt season.
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely agree.
Yeah. And what's interesting is in the last couple of days, what we've seen is with that ETHBTC ratio. So it's been in this mad downtrend for since the merge, basically. And there was a strong level of support here. And basically what we saw is that it had just closed below it and then just faked out. Like it just did a full reversal. So the other indication that maybe we might be hitting a bottom with the ETH-BTC ratio is that Bitcoin dominance. So, I mean, Bitcoin's down 0.3% for the day. So that's sort of, you know, possibly just because it's being rejected off this resistance here. So you can see that was the daily close, all-time high back in December. And then we wicked above it in 20th of Jan, but we never closed above it. So basically it was rejected. And then so now we're even getting rejected off this. This is a very strong resistance here. So yeah, the price of BTC looks like it was sort of bouncing off this 20 MA. It was going up, and then the Bitcoin dominance was going down. So it was kind of like that sweet spot of like price of Bitcoin going up, but the dominance going down.
Okay.
So it's like alts were going up. So as a rate of change, as a ratio of rate of change, it was like Bitcoin was going up, but altcoins were going up faster.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, as Bitcoin price going up, dominance going down. Yeah, that's like exactly what you want to see.
Yeah.
So I think everyone just started getting a little bit frothy, but yeah, and then we've had a little bit of. I mean, the problem is here is if this Bitcoin dominance has been going up in an uptrend, and then this is clear, you know, resistance, it's busted through it. It looks like it's almost retesting, turning into support. So if that's the case, then Bitcoin's just going to keep going in terms of dominance, which would be bad. I guess the next one up from there. So these are fib lines that I've put in here. Actually, these fib lines lined up almost, you know, like, so if I put this on log, maybe just zoom out a little bit. So these fib lines here actually lined up almost exactly, like it got rejected. This Bitcoin dominance got rejected off this fib line. So that's why I was like, oh, that's also going to be another potential. If it does go up to that 61%, hopefully it gets rejected again. So, or hopefully it just breaks down from here. And then I think alts will start to pump. So yeah, there's definitely some bullish sentiment sort of going around.
Yeah, and just to clarify, Dozza, the November thing, that is the 4-year cycle, is that if the pattern repeats, Bitcoin would hit a new, well, its top would be this November if the pattern repeats from past 4-year cycles. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's like November 10th, I think.
November 10th,
so,
right, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of scary that those I mean, November 11, I think, is Remembrance Day, so it's like it's kind of easy to remember.
Yeah.
So, but it's like it's been dead on. Like it did the all-time high to all-time low was like exactly 1 year. And that's happened in previous cycles, and then it's basically been 3 years to break the previous all-time high.
Yeah,
that repeated as well, and then so this is final year. And then but I mean, you can have double tops, triple tops, whatever. We kind of had a top last November, December, and it was real. We were sort of going, wow, this really seems a bit early. But I think what that boils down to is it sounds a little bit dumb saying it like this, but you kind of almost have to break it down, because, you know, circulating supply and things like that doesn't really affect the price. You can burn circulating supply, but it doesn't actually change the price. Only thing that changes price is the buys and sells in the liquidity pool, right?
Yeah.
And then all burning, you know, of the liquidity and things like that. So, and like we always talk about, you got to have locked liquidity. So don't just, people sort of think, oh wow, this coin's got liquidity, and then like that tomorrow it doesn't. So be careful out there, you know, Solana Jeets. But if the price is just a function of the buys versus sells, the reason why people are buying is because they perceive that it's going to be, that there will be more people buying it in the future. That's all it is.
Forward looking. Yeah.
So they're trying to price in whether people are going to be buying in the future or selling in the future. So they're trying to look at like events. So I think it was just literally like the Trump, you know, inauguration and the Trump administration coming in, that people would just have to reprice Bitcoin, because they said, well, once all this legislation comes in that's crypto favorable, then we're going to see all of these things that, maybe a strategic Bitcoin reserve, things are going to be buying, institutions going to be buying, maybe like Bank of America and a few other places, like they indicated that if the legislation sort of landscape was conducive to them purchasing, and then they would sort of start to integrate it and things like that. So they were really waiting on legislation changes and almost like a sentiment change. So then once they realized that Trump was in, it's like, oh, now we have to reprice.
Yeah.
And then, so that's why we kind of had almost like a sell the news when he was actually in, because the price went up. Because it's like the repricing had already happened. So that's the way I sort of see it. So then you've got to look to see what is the next repricing. Like why do we need to reprice this asset? And you have to look at Ethereum and you say, well, World Liberty Finance are stacking ETH like it's going out of fashion. Like they're just buying like 10 milli clips like every day. There's the BlackRock Ethereum ETF, and the ETHBTC ratio is at sort of lower than what it was in previous cycles at this time in the cycle. So it's like it's oversold. And it's been in this massive downtrend. It's hitting support. People kind of all praying for a bit of an ETHBTC reversal, like trend reversal. And then that's also typically been an indicator of like alt season starting, is when the ETHBTC ratio starts to flip. So people are really waiting for that Ethereum price or something to, a future event to do with Ethereum that would cause people to reprice it based on that future event. Like, why would people in the future be wanting to buy it? Why would people choose to buy Ether in the future? And there's obviously been a lot of reasons why people haven't been bullish on Ethereum. I think the Ethereum Foundation, have been selling flat out. And even recently, Vitalik sort of took over the foundation. So there's a lot of disharmony there. And then he's going to appoint a new leader or something. Do you know much about that?
Well, a little bit, but I haven't followed that part closely, although I have been semi-aware of it. But from a fundamentals point of view and from a technology point of view, Ethereum's actually got a lot of problems from a technological perspective at the moment, a lot of challenges. There was a recent paper, Dozza, written by a few university postgraduates and a member from the Ethereum Foundation, that the latest data shows that 95% of Ethereum's blocks originate from just two builders. Now, formerly, it was about 80% from three builders, but it's got worse. It's 95% from two builders, which is another example of extreme centralization in Ethereum. And this is all to do with this MEV, maximal extractable value, that validators can profit from extra value in these blocks. And, because the dynamics have changed since Ethereum proof of work, right, once the issuance dropped. So there had to be a new way to get extra value out of these blocks. And one of that ways is from MEV. But the problem is now there's these two builders. Builders are basically the builders of the block. So you've got the validators that propose a block. The builders are responsible for building the actual block, right? And there's basically only two builders that have most of the market. So it's pricing out all the other builders. Now there are proposals.
I heard that as well.
So
I heard that there were two. There's obviously thousands of validators for Ethereum, but it's like Coinbase and Kraken or whoever it was. There was a couple of big players that owned, like, I think it was at least 40%,
which is another problem.
Or the validators. And that's why it was like, oh, actually, Ethereum's not as decentralized as you may think. That's why I used to harp on a lot about this Nakamoto coefficient. I think people got bored of it, but it is a measure of decentralization. And PulseChain actually has 12 as it's at the lower. So you actually want more, like a higher number. It's more so. It's a measure of the smallest number of independent entities that can act collectively to shut down a blockchain. So if you look at
I'm surprised that with PulseChain it's only 12. I thought with PulseChain it would be much larger. I didn't know there was a known measure for PulseChain actually. So I'm interested on that one. But certainly with I think with Bitcoin it's like 17 or 70,000. It's astronomically high compared to everything else.
Not sure. For some reason, it doesn't have Ethereum on here, but it used to have Ethereum, and I remember it went from 3 to 2.
Yeah, it was very low.
I was like, what?
Yeah, it was very low for Ethereum. I haven't seen a definitive number for PulseChain actually. I'd imagine with PulseChain.
I helped to get that one listed.
Right.
I've got a dev to sort it out.
Yeah.
And based on the validators, and so 12 apparently. I mean, it's higher than, it's the same as Near.
Yeah.
It's higher than a lot of others. But yeah, I think the fact that we've got so many validators distributed around the world.
Well, and they're not absorbed by Infura and AWS for PulseChain, right? It's basically the community setting them up. There's no absorption by Infura or AWS like there is with Ethereum, which is why you would only need a couple of entities to collude together to shut, a major part of the chain down with Ethereum. That's in theory, anyway.
It's particularly the cloud stuff, definitely. Whereas we've got David Feeder working like a Chad in the background, doing the actual hardware, putting them out there. But it's interesting because how there was with the case, we're all waiting on that dismissal, of course, with PulseChain and with the jurisdiction dismissal. But the judge had even said, where does the blockchain live? And I think that's a really, people think that may be a dumb question to ask, but it's actually a really interesting question, because now they're talking about, Trump was even saying that cryptos that are made in the USA are going to be tax exempt and things like that. Like you wouldn't have to pay tax on US cryptos. And it's like, well, hang on, how do you define that? And I think Nuclear Herbs actually came up with a really good definition. I'm not sure if I can, or maybe I can pull it up, or whether I would butcher it, but he effectively said it's like the ratio of your validators distributed around the world, what percentage of them are in the US at the end of like a financial year. You could sort of say how many transactions were processed through which validators, and was the majority of them validated in the US. That makes it an American crypto, because if you sort of said, even if it was 30% of the validators were in the US, one argument would say, well, then that's not a US crypto. And you go, yeah, but then the next, then 20% of them were in the UK, and then 10% were in Australia, and then 5%. So it's still the largest, like the majority percentage. Yeah. So therefore it's predominantly a US crypto. So it's interesting to think of it that way, because otherwise, how do you define it?
Yeah, so that's a good point then, Dozza. So you've got decentralization, but there's distribution, right? So distribution is how the nodes or the validators are distributed geographically, I suppose, is what we're talking about. Yeah, interesting.
Because how else how do you define a jurisdiction for a chain that is?
Yeah,
you almost have to say, well, where are the nodes? Where are the validators that are validating blocks?
Yeah.
And as a higher percentage, even though it might only even be like 15% of the validators might be in the US, but if all the other countries are like 7% and 6%, it's still a majority, US. That's, I mean, or you have to sort of say that it was founded in the US by a US, citizen, or that the company has a headquarters based in the US. But that doesn't necessarily make sense, because blockchains are, don't necessarily have centralized entities.
Exactly.
And it's almost like where do the people pay tax? I guess the thing is VPNs as well, though, because then you could show that you're routing it all through the US. VPNs, it gets complicated, doesn't it?
Couldn't it? Yeah. It'd be interesting to find out what the distribution is for PulseChain as well. Have you got any thoughts on that, or any evidence that mentions where all the validators are distributed for PulseChain?
Well, GoPulse has that stats thing.
I didn't know if that had a distribution. Maybe it does. I know I'm well aware of GoPulse. I use it a lot, but
yeah. So validatorstore.com, I think, is David Feeder's thing.
Yeah.
I thought there was a
Distribution.
there you go. This is a globe.
Oh yes, I do remember this. Actually. Yeah. Okay. Right.
So it looks like it's a lot over Europe.
Yeah. Wow, it's actually very distributed by the looks of it.
few
Not just
in-
decentralized, but well distributed.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I guess because the US is such a big country, that would
yeah.
probably represent a larger, because there's probably more in Europe, but there's so many countries here that I wouldn't be surprised if it is predominantly the validators are in the US.
Yeah, because
it's
those
such a
white
big
dots
country.
are not. Those white dots are probably not weighted, are they? I don't know. They're probably
Yeah, that's true as well. There could be like 10,000 validators just in one place.
But that's the thing.
Okay.
So with Ethereum, it's just a different setup with Ethereum, and I really hope that PulseChain doesn't go down that kind of path that Ethereum has gone down. I really hope so. Great that PulseChain takes Ethereum functionality. I have no problem with that, but I don't want it to go down through the same infrastructure setup as Ethereum. So let's hope it does stay.
I mean, PulseChain also shits all over the L2s as well, because a lot of the L2s, so we're talking Optimism, Arbitrum, and Base, they rely on a sequencer, which is like a single point of failure. So you can have all of these validators, but then they all go through one sequencer.
That's right.
And
that's another centralization problem with Ethereum.
So that one sequencer thing, if you follow Brett on Twitter, one of the Pulse devs, he goes into great lengths as to why this whole one sequencer thing is a bad idea.
That's right. And that's a fundamental difference between Ethereum and Cardano. Now, I probably shouldn't talk too much about Cardano. That might be a bit of a sensitive topic for the PulseChain community at the moment. But Cardano doesn't use sequences. So that's one fundamental difference between Ethereum and Cardano. It's all built in at the foundational level. So it doesn't need to reorder transactions and use sequences to do that kind of stuff. So,
it's funny that Charles Hodgkinson is like this, well-respected person that's, and Richard Hart isn't. And then it's like, hang on. They're very similar.
Exactly.
It's just that, people just don't tend to like. So this one's always my favorite. So pull this up here. This is, it's like, Richard Hart, wears crazy Gucci, tracksuits. And it's like, how can you trust this man? It's like, bro, this guy's wearing like a falcon.
I've heard he's only like, Charles Hodgkinson is only like 37 or something. Like he's not exactly, it's
But I just think that's a classic like comeback. There's an Ethereum website. Or I shouldn't try and find it on the fly, but I'll see if I can find it while we're talking. But it talks about all of the different L2s, and it shows like that some of them don't have their fraud proofs online, and that the sequence is down, and there's all these like things that you're kind of going, wait, what? I thought you guys, it's like you're fixing the airplane while it's in the air. It's like, wait a minute. How?
And that's the thing, you can see the evolution, and I talk about a lot of this in my book about the evolution and the landscape, so then you have Solana and Sui building from the ground up, although they've got their own different problems, but they're now building from the ground up. But it was, Ethereum it's kind of Richard Hart talks about this spaghetti code, doesn't he, in Bitcoin? Well, I think it's a lot more prevalent in Ethereum. I think there's a lot of spaghetti code in Ethereum. It's quite messy. But I like the fact that PulseChain can take those new little features it's got. But Ethereum's got a lot of work to do, I think, I think some of those proposals that I talked about earlier, like with MEV, are going to take some time, I think, to roll that out. They are not simple changes. So, it's got problems, but look, the market still values it. So if the market values it, let's see how that turns out.
Yeah. I've never really been a fan of that term, like the spaghetti code thing. I mean, Richard obviously knows more about it than I do, but it's like it's obviously secure enough, like that it's
Well, that's right. It's never been hacked as such. So, but yeah, it's
Anyway, I don't know enough about it, so I can't really talk. But this was
all I would say is that, you know, for Ethereum's consensus function, I've done some research in the past, and that is like about between 10 to 100,000 lines of code. For Bitcoin, it's like a few hundred. That's what I do know.
Yeah. So increased complexity has potential for more issues, particularly.
And even Vitalik mentioned at one point that he wants AI to detect some of those vulnerabilities and bugs in Ethereum. That was one of his concerns, and he wants AI to resolve some of that. So even he's voiced concerns in Ethereum, and rightly so.
This is that site I was talking about. I managed to just find it there. It's this L2beat.com. And so if you actually look at the risk analysis on it, it's kind of crazy where I remember even Vitalik was saying that, I think if you go to the summary, he was saying that anything that's not, you know, a stage 2, they would not be supporting it in terms of decentralization. And then it's like, oh, hang on, base is like stage 0. And so, and then you look at the risk analysis and it's like fraud proofs. There's a 1-day delay for self-sequence, cannot withdraw, Starknet cannot withdraw. You know, you kind of look at some of this stuff, you go, is this right?
It's just
like PulseChain has just been working flawlessly from day dot. And I think we actually underestimate just how good it is.
Oh, we do. And sorry, Dozza, one point I wanted to make that despite Ethereum, the one point, I forgot to make was despite Ethereum's flaws, it's still got the network effect, right? So, although how would you define network effect exactly? But certainly a lot of people I know, right, they're all still using MetaMask. They're all still buying most of their projects on Ethereum, right? Like a lot of new projects that launch, certainly for some projects that I've bought, I had to buy on Ethereum because if they're very early, there's only a wrapped version available, and it's only a wrapped version available on Ethereum, right? So most of the projects that I've ever bought are all projects that reside on Ethereum. Now I have bought a few, you know, on other chains, but overall, you know, a little bit on Binance and stuff like that. But overall, it's all on Ethereum. And so the interesting thing that I want to see in how all this plays out is over time is will people shift off Ethereum because the other chain has to be almost 10 times better than Ethereum for people to shift. Otherwise, I don't think people are going to shift. It can be better, but I don't think being marginally better is enough. It needs to be like 10 times better, I think, for people to shift away from Ethereum and for that new chain to capture the market. So
do you think there could be different use? Well, I think there could be different use cases for different chains. So it seems like to me that Ethereum is what people are using for serious dollars. Like if you're talking like World Liberty Finance, you know, Aave, like these sorts of guys that are talking about like the TVL on Ethereum, like the amount of billions of dollars on chain, it's the most secure chain. And I feel like it's built for financial instruments and things like that. Whereas Solana's use case is just like rug city. Like you get in and you get out, just memes, and you just trying to, it's the casino. It's a casino chain.
It's a casino chain, but like Tron in a different way though.
Well,
anyway.
So I mean, and then so now there's like mindshare, like different people are trying to become the next casino chain as such, because they perceive that that's the way to get the most value. And so when people are pricing in the price of Sol, it's because they know that people are always going to need Sol and pair it with their casino coin, XYZ. So, you know, people are sort of pricing that in, and then they think, oh, there's a Sol ETF coming. You know, there's advances. Like Sui, for example, Phantom just adopted Sui into their wallet. That's huge. Like I've been talking about getting PulseChain on Phantom for a long time, and I really think that would make it a lot easier for people, Solana Jeets or whatever, to just be able to just have because they're all, if you go into Phantom, you have like just like a drop down, and you have your address in different chains, so you can have like
better UI, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like Solana address, BSC address, Ethereum address, SUI address. It's just all there. And yeah, so it would be good just to have PulseChain there. So we need to ramp up our shilling on with the Phantom wallet guys. I mean, not to say that there's not other wallets and things around. There certainly is. There's these new Atlas ones. There's this hot wallet. We can maybe talk about that as well. But yeah, so I guess what my answer to your question was more that they have different use cases. I feel like some people are competing for the mind share of like a meme coin sort of chain. But in the end, the main thing that people don't really say out loud, which I feel like everyone knows, is that as much as we're in it for the tech, we're also just here for number go up.
Oh,
so
yeah. Well, we're probably more in it for number go up. Yeah. It's,
yeah. We're 100% more in it from number go up. So, I mean, we do obviously, I would prefer to do it in a way that is safe and secure, and to have, permissionless contracts and permissionless yield and all this sort of stuff. That's why Hex is so good. You're not relying on like a middleman to give you yield. And so, even with PulseChain itself and PulseX, the way that it's set up, it's more censorship resistant because, we value those things, but it still has to perform. And I feel like that's what the reason why people go elsewhere is because they have short attention spans, and they tend to just want to go to where they think they can make more money.
The next shiny object, yeah.
Yeah. So that's fine. But different horses for different courses, So there's going to be people out there that don't need 100,000% change in there. They just need 30% per annum or something like that. Yeah. So a lot of people out there do need that 100x, but the risk. It's obviously a risk curve. To get the higher ROI, you have to take on more risk. And so, yeah, you might get that 20x, 30x, but then the next coin, you just lose it all. So
zero-sum game, right? Yeah, exactly. You win on one, you lose on 5 others. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I'd rather get a consistency. I think consistency is better, like to get consistent yield, consistent gains, and not take on too much risk. I feel is a better way to go about it, rather than chasing just these massive, Solana wicks that then you just get rugged on and then lose your whole stack.
I talked to quite a few people about this, Dozza, and I talked to people about number go up, and I'm obviously interested in the tech and the fundamentals, and that's why I wrote my book, and that's just my approach, even with shares as well. And I talk about number go up and how people get wrecked, and it's just because people are in it for price. And then people said to me, yeah, but Ross, every investment you invest in is for price. And I was like, oh yeah, I agree. Yeah. Every investment I make is because I want the number to go up. But the difference is this: every investment I make isn't just for the number go up. Yes, it's because I want the number to go up, but I am actually also invested in the tech and the fundamentals, right? I believe if you only get into something for number go up without understanding any of the tech, that's where it's dangerous, right? You can make money on those meme coins, right? But you're probably going to lose on 5 others, unless you are just a very, very good trader, right? If you are a very good trader and you're great with indicators and charts, fine. But most people think they are, but they're not, right? And they get into, Trump coin or whatever, and they might gain on that one, but then they lose 5 others that they'll keep quiet about, right? But if you're in it for the fundamentals and the long-term vision, PulseChain, perfect example, and a few other chains like BitTensor and all sorts of other ones I've talked about, I believe that kind of patience in the end will reward you. But unfortunately, that's not what most of the market does, which is why a lot of people do get wrecked,
Yeah, you do have to look over a longer time frame, that's for sure.
That's
I just wanted to
approach.
No, I agree. I just want to quickly shout out the chat. Apologies for neglecting the chat over here. What is up, Sammy Chica? Should have said hello and give you the link is actually in the chat, so you're welcome to come on, Sammy. And Quinny Gin, or Ginny Quinn, as we like to sometimes call him, after a couple of beers. What is up? And g'day to you, UFO sir. Good to have you on board. Bitfinesse is OG for sure. All the sellers have to become sick of crypto, sell the bottom and leave. Yeah, that's interesting. So like the bottom is when, the last sellers have to go. Then and only then can we pump. I feel like we've already had that. I think we hit the that mass capitulation when we were down to, I think the pulse was 40369 or roughly. And now we're seeing sort of higher lows. It's not quite as bad, but yeah, it's like we had strong hands. Shake out the weak hands, shake out the strong hands, and then we got new weak hands came in, and then we had to shake them out as well. And then it's only the diamond hands left, so that's okay. What is up, HEXican lost in Asia? Have another drink. Cool. 43 is coming on. That would be sweet. G'day, Blobfish King. Good to see you. DeepSeek, Deepfake. Yes. That's interesting. that whole market, because I think apparently Nvidia is like a $3 trillion market cap, and they went down 18%. $600 billion. Yeah, that's like roughly 20%. Yeah. So far out. That was a huge correction. And then they were like, oh, hang on, are you guys actually using 5% of the processing power, or have you got like a whole bunch of GPUs in the back room? Like, shh. So yeah, that was interesting. China always with the FUD as well. Define it by the location of the VPN server. Okay, that was going back to our where does the blockchain live thing. What's up, Crypto Class? She's actually got a stream tomorrow, I believe, a lady stream. So check out Crypto Class on her channel. What is up? Okay, PulseChain. Hey, how you going, man? I don't think I've seen you here before, but good to see you. This was what's up, Sammy? That was me putting in that link. Oh, HEXican. That was actually really fun. We had the Aussie Day stream last week, and shout out to HEXican for coming on. That was awesome. BTC's had 2 inflation bugs. They're easy to introduce as the code is not modular. Okay. Yeah, I've heard about the inflation bugs. Yeah, I mean, that's why Richard was always talking about that spaghetti code thing, isn't it? Because of the inflation bugs. Anyway, BlackRock bought, or the ETFs or whatever, was $600 billion worth of BTC last week. So it's obviously good enough for them.
Yeah.
I would tell Vitalik to stop selling your coin. Yeah, that was the thing with that DeepSeek, right? Everyone's going, AI is over and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, that's a little alarmist. And then the Ethereum Foundation sold 100 ETH. And I was saying, because even though Vitalik sort of took over the Ethereum Foundation, and then they still sold 100 ETH at the, during the panic.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, come on now. You should be buying ETH. Like, what are you doing? The price has just got murdered. Yeah. That's when you buy.
It's all about crowd psychology. I've read all kinds of books on this. It's herd mentality. It's you follow the crowds, and it's a dangerous game if you're following the crowds too much. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I like, as much as Michael Saylor has got the is playing a dangerous game with his leverage. I like the fact that he just goes, I'm going to be buying tops forever, and I'm just going to keep buying. And look, we bought a top, or we bought a bottom. Who cares? Because it's just gonna. And he's buying, right? So you need like a Michael Saylor micro strategy approach to Ethereum. Like, that's what the Ethereum Foundation should be doing, is buying Ethereum and then taking the loans against it and buying more Ethereum, like doing that strategy is proven to pump the price.
Yeah, absolutely. Dollar cost averaging and Yep.
Oh, look, here we go. 43 is in the house. How you going there, brother? You might be muted.
I'm well, thank you. How are you guys going, Ross?
Very good.
Very well, mate. It was I was just saying the Aussie Day stream was epic last week or over the weekend.
It was quite a few people jumped on, Aussies and non-Aussies, but we welcome all here.
Yeah,
on
Big K.
DeFi Down Under.
That was awesome. That was awesome to have Big K on as well. So I've never streamed with him before.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was, I think, maybe my second or third time, maybe my third time with Big K.
Oh, really?
I streamed
Okay.
maybe more. Maybe I've streamed with Big K maybe 4. I don't know. It's like going back years though.
Yeah, he's an OG. He's been around for
so good to absolutely.
And of course, a producer of the highest of stakes.
I think it was him. It's either him or someone else. Producer of the highest of stakes, but I think it was him who, well, maybe it wasn't him, but there was some OG that I remember saying that they were doing 5 stakes in the first week that Hex launched. And
Whoa.
I'm like, yo, that is full on. That's those stakes are less than 10 years away from coming out, right? Because we're already, over 5 years in.
It is.
But that's also like demonstrates a fair bit of belief and commitment to the protocol, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that's something I would expect Karim to do straight off the bat, because he was he was mad for the 5555s. There was
absolutely. And look, I think I'm going to jump out and come back in because I've got quite a delay. I feel like I've got a good 5-second delay, so I'm gonna jump out and jump back in. Okay.
No worries. All good. This was another one from HEXican. Worst bug to have according to IH is the 51% attacks. Yeah. Gamma's only too about the wins. Strong hands. Let's go. Oh, here's one from Crypto Class. At any one time, it's a judgment belief in the likely chart go up. Yeah. Not as likely when performance has been so bad for so long. We need things to shake up a bit. Yeah. So I think if we do get a dismissal, then that'll be a repricing. Because people, although it's interesting because people sort of say, oh, with the SEC case, that's stopping us from getting on exchanges, like centralized exchanges. But there were so many cryptos that had SEC Wells notices, like Solana and everything, and they all were on centralized exchanges, and their price was going up. So that argument doesn't really hold up. And then I guess the other thing is that people will kind of go, oh, without centralized exchanges, how can our price go up? It's like, well, half the Solana meme coins aren't on centralized exchanges either because they're all on DEXs. So like Radium and things like that. And that was, I think, DJ Cryptomatic made that point during the conference. And I was like, yes, great point.
Well, also, if you look back in history, Hex did a 10,000x without ever being on centralized exchanges, right? One of the biggest mainers ever in history, and it was never on centralized exchanges then. So,
exactly. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's like if people perceive that the price is going up and that it will keep going up in the future, then that's why they'll buy. So it's that feedback loop.
Yeah.
G'day, Cal. What's going on, man?
It's a good example of just how it's actually a win for the ecosystem. I know it doesn't seem like it. It's like, oh, we're not on this exchange, we're not on that exchange, but it is actually such a win for the ecosystem after 5 years to still be here with such a strong community, and really, the fact that we're here without having some of these centralized entities, which are stakeholders in the crypto sphere, backing us at all. So the fact that we're still here is pretty it's a strong tick in the favor of the RH ecosystem. PulseChain, Hex, And whether or not it's like, if it's like, I'll give you an example. So in some of the businesses, like in my business, and some of the businesses I used to speak to, who were my competitors, but we'd see each other at trade shows and stuff. They used to be in Maya, and they always used to complain because like Maya was their biggest client, and their fear was that if Maya dropped them, they would just like their sales would go down 95%.
Right.
So it is always opportunity to, it's an opportunity that's there to get onto an exchange. But if all of your inflows are coming from one exchange, for example, that is a risk that if they drop you, then the price
Central
goes
point
down.
of failure.
It's a balance. I think I've asked you guys this question before, haven't I, Dozza and True Blue? Like, would you want Hex and PulseChain to get on exchanges? Because then you couldn't necessarily claim that you're pure DeFi. But Dozza's answer was, well, it depends how much is on the exchanges and how much the inflows are on those exchanges. If it's just a small amount and it's just using the bridge and off ramp to get onto your hardware wallet, it's okay, right? So it's that balance, I think. Yeah.
It's about ease of use as well. Like I know 0x Coast are making it quite easy for the US guys to get on. And I don't mind using the Ethereum bridge. I think that's fine for me. At 0% fees, I'm happy to do that. But there is a point where it's like, if people are coming from other chains and then they don't have gas to transact, and then you have to use a faucet or a, you know what I mean? Like if they don't have the pulse to actually buy the coin, so they bridge in.
Don't you get free pot, like 1,000 free pulse or something when you bridge over?
If you go through the main bridge, there's a bridge buddy bot that will do it through the Ethereum bridge. Otherwise, you have to use the faucet, and then sometimes the faucet runs dry because it's just like people donating to RH Max's faucet. Shout out to RH Max. Yeah. So otherwise, you've got to go. Yeah. I mean, he's Chad for doing that, setting that up, and having a donation address that people can put Pulse into. But yeah, unless you go through that main bridge, I don't know if you get Pulse in your wallet. So it's just for example, I guess, if someone wanted to buy the Grays currency coin on PulseChain and they just heard about it and they're like, right, oh, that's awesome. I'm going to use PortalX or something, and I'm just going to swap my Sol over. Actually, in that case, you might be able to swap directly to PulseChain.
You can swap directly to Pulse.
Yeah, and then I suppose you get a lot of fees and things like that. But so say you went from, like I know there's the Token Express thing. You go from like Binance Smart Chain, and then you get like a wrapped version of Binance or BNB on PulseChain, but then you need Pulse to actually unwrap it or to swap it. So yeah, every now and then there is instances where you need Pulse on the other side, and that's just a thing that if it was on a centralized exchange, you could just be like, send some Pulse to that address. That's what I feel like would be the best use case for it.
It definitely opens it up to a whole different, potential customer.
Yes, and exactly.
So it's opportunity. The point is that's only opportunity. That's only opportunity. That's we shouldn't look at that as like necessarily a negative. It's just opportunity. If we get on there, we get in there. Otherwise, it is what it is. We're thriving. I'm going to say we're thriving, right? I'm going to say that. I know I would probably get people saying, "Oh, look at the prices. We're not thriving." No, the ecosystem's thriving.
Oh yeah.
If you
people are building all sorts of stuff on it.
Yeah,
and
the
community's there.
Yep.
Look at the numbers on DeFi Llama as well. It's TVL and everything. That's why I would say I agree with 43. It's thriving. Yeah.
And this is an interesting comment here. Crypto Ethos. I haven't seen you before, so yeah, thanks for joining us. I've never followed the crowd. There's a reason why 1% own 99% of the wealth. So yeah, if you That's actually quite a
It's
interesting
a really
point.
good point. I mean, there's a known term in economics. I think it's called the Keynesian beauty contest or something. So apparently at a beauty contest, you vote for the woman that you think everyone else is going to vote for, not for the woman that you want to vote for. And that's the same with markets. You get into, I've never been to a beauty contest, by the way, but apparently that's how it works. And it's the same with the markets. You tend to buy the coin that everyone else is buying, like Sui is a classic example maybe at the moment, not because it's the coin that you would choose. You're buying it because that's the one everyone else is choosing and the price is going up. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Because you are hoping that there'll be future buyers at a higher price.
That's right.
That's the primary motivation. Exceed expectations to drive the potential, or it can or will die to perform under 10 cents. Yeah, I don't think that is going to be a problem. I think.
Speaking of other chains.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Speaking of other chains, Dozza, a mutual friend of ours, was talking about like quite a big airdrop that happened this week in relation to Venice AI, or they. I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure exactly what like the deal was as far as like what you.
So was it that triple V token on base that was actually airdropped to people who had?
Yeah, and I'm not sure who exactly got it and who didn't get it, but from what I understand, for some people it was quite a significant airdrop, lucrative. Like in the tens of thousands of dollars for some people.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's like
crazy.
I heard those numbers and I was like, damn, that's some tasty cheddar, because I had actually used Venice AI a little bit when you showed it to me, and I was like, this is awesome. And I showed a bunch of people and I was like, check this out. And we talked about it on a stream.
You could use it for free. You can use it for free. Like you didn't have to pay for anything. You could just use it for free. And it was I showed a lot of people as well.
But then the funny thing is that we were talking about that MOR token, MOR, and I think we even said we don't want to say the name of the token on stream because we don't want to just like shill a token, but like there was a token associated with it that you could buy and it gave you some access or whatever. And then so I bought some. I can't remember how much of it I bought, but I was like, just in cases, I'll buy some in case there's like some mad airdrop in the future, or if for whatever reason this gets hugely popular and I'll have some of this MOR token. And then when I found out that there was like this airdrop for this token holders, I can't find which wallet I put it in.
Oh, no.
I've fully lost like the wallet because it was on Arbitrum, right? So I must have just put it on some random wallet that I was like, stick it on this and on Arbitrum. So yeah, I don't know. I couldn't find it.
How frustrating. You'll find it one day.
It's possible, but I just swapped. I got bored of it, after like a year or something, and just swapped it for some like Arbitrum Pepe or something. And then now I'll be like, would have been completely rugged, or maybe it's still there, but I just can't find it. I haven't spent a lot of time looking, but
seriously though, tens of thousands. Like, I think like what this mutual friend was talking about. I think it was like 30 or 40 grand US or something like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Hey, welcome to crypto. Welcome to crypto, where airdrops can be like worth 3 cents, for a billion of them, or they can be worth like, 38 grand for like 2,000 of them.
Yeah, so the thing is, by the time I find my airdrop, all the liquidity will be gone. That's going to be the irony.
What is that price of that token now? Like, because I was at the time, I think it was like what was, I think it was like 15 or 20 bucks or something.
$20, yeah. So a lot of people would have got that airdrop. So, and that was the Eric Voorhees thing. So crazy that people did that. So hopefully they rotate that into PulseChain at the lows, and then you can get stacks on stacks. That's the way to do it. Those stakes are blazing still, just printing. That is true. Very true.
And I'm not going to miss this opportunity, Dozza, to repeat what I was saying a couple of weeks ago, which is I believe that Hex after 5 years of observing, you know, the system and how people use it, I believe wholeheartedly that Hex more closely resembles a self-managed pension fund than it does like a CD. Not to say that people can't use it like a CD, but I really do think that it resembles more closely a self-managed pension fund.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an interesting take. I mean, treat it as a long-term thing. I mean, I still think, we've got the cycle's not over, and we've got some mad gains to be made, and it doesn't have to be,
Absolutely.
like a 15-year, 20-year thing. It can just literally be in the next year. But you can do both, right? Like you can have long-term stuff and short-term stuff.
I just think the CD
that
thing,
idea.
The CD thing was like, it was, we thought that in the beginning, we thought that that's what it was. But like upon, after 5 years of just looking at it and using it and, being involved with it, I think now more than ever, it resembles that a lot less than what we thought it did. Before it really did. I really did think it was like very much going to be like operate like a certificate of deposit or a term deposit, as we call, as people call in Australia.
Did you see this post from Eric Wall about just humor me for a second. Let's imagine Hex is just a fatso meme coin with some staking yield mechanics, and you saw this purely as a meme coin. Is it funnier than Dog with Hat or no? And then he's got like a list of reasons why. I mean, he's just the king of the trolls. So this will trigger a lot of people.
I'm not trolling though. The difference is I'm not trolling, and I'm sure that
you're not trolling, but he was like almost agreeing with you, like saying.
He was throwing shade at it though, right?
No, but I know he was throwing shade, but he does it in a funny way. I still find it funny. He actually said drop the certificate of deposit on blockchain and the Nobel Prize winning.
So can you guys? So he must have got that idea from me, yeah. Obviously.
I reckon he's been watching our streams, yeah. But it was funny because the way he did it, like he was like saying, Richard doesn't stream because he's hunting Russia. That's funny. Send it. And then
I don't actually disagree.
Yada, yada, yada.
Can I be honest with you guys? I don't actually disagree with half the stuff he's saying there. Can I tell you why? Because that is what a lot of people will remember Hex by, right? So if the outrage marketing was worth anything, it was that it planted a seed in the minds of many people in the crypto industry about Hex. That's the whole point of outrage marketing.
Yeah, exactly. It's mind share. It's that occupying that little bit of space in their minds forevermore.
I saw a clip, I think it was on Crypto Coffee's Twitter, of like Richard Hart like twerking on the Hex like Lamborghini, like in that museum with music, and it's like, that is exactly the type of thing that will get someone's attention briefly enough to like maybe go, hey, what is this? Like, what is this random like fat dude just twerking on top of a car? Like that is the type of like short-term attention span. Exactly.
So Richard's always been has leaned into that meme sort of thing. But I just like the way that he did this. Like
tweet,
he was,
by the way. It was a recent tweet. So is
Eric's one?
No, the Crypto Coffee one with that clip. That is
okay. I don't like watching Richard twerk, man. It's like I can't. Yeah. It's not.
Well,
it's not
I think as 43 said,
come on, dude.
I've seen it enough. I've seen his ass twerking too many times.
Do it for the team, man. Do it for the team. Sorry, Ross.
The thing is with that, I mean, and I like the humor in it, and it's good to sort of, joke about it and that lot. The problem is when I went to conferences and things like that, and I think, there's another author guy, he's done a PulseChain book, Mark Wild. He said he went to a conference in Thailand, and he said people just, avoided him. He had the PulseChain t-shirt on, and people just said they don't take PulseChain seriously because of Richard Hart and all his twerking. And I had similar feedback at a local conference that I went to. They said
I
they didn't take it
don't know,
seriously.
bro. I got to push back on that. I mean, one of the number one performers of this year has been like Fart Coin, and I mean, there's some stupid shit out there. Like things go up that's pretty juvenile, and
But that's
and I
right.
mean,
But that's right. But we can't compare that to Hex, right? Hex is a proper, like pension fund
I
seed,
know it is.
long-term serious asset, right? That's not meant to be pump and dump like that, right?
100% agree. 100% agree. But my point is only that if people want to buy it because they perceive it to be a meme coin, that's fine. If people want to buy it because they perceive it to be trustless yield, that's fine as well. If people want to buy it for whatever reason, I actually don't care the reason why they buy it. It's like I know the reason why I buy it and the reason why I think it's good. But
I actually don't think that that is a good pool of people to be getting like an idea of whether PulseChain is a good buy or not, because they are all people at a conference who all have bags of some other shit that they want to shill and they think is the best. So I don't think that is a good pool of people to be basing your decisions
perception.
off,
Yeah,
exactly. I think that like you what you want to think about is like who is going to buy who. And by the way, Trump obviously doesn't mind a bit of twerking because they bought some PulseChain, I believe. So
okay, come on now. So that was a whale that had bought some PDI and then they changed their name to like Trump official or something on DBank.
Oh really? Well, I thought it was World Liberty Finance that bought some PulseChain. No, it wasn't. Fake news.
No. It's fake news. Someone might have sent World Liberty Finance a bunch of Pulse, but I think the thing during the week.
It was good. I got to find it. So maybe you're right. Yeah, it's probably.
You don't. I don't believe anything that I see when I see that. It's like, oh yeah, a Trump official bought whatever it was, PDI, and it's like, okay.
It was World Liberty.fi or something. I don't.
Yeah, that's the proper one. We can pull that up. I was just going to quickly, because I keep wanting to show this clip because it's been like relevant to a couple of things that we've been saying. But let me just quickly show this. This was a viral thing that's just went. You might know these guys, Aussie guys.
I'm gonna get you at 6 a.m.
Can you hear that?
I hate my life. I don't want to be a bricklayer anymore. I fucking hate this shit. Seriously, I hate my life. I know.
I mean, I love my life. $450,000 on Fartcoin. This shit is just so easy.
I don't want to do this anymore. My back's fucked. You all right? It's not worth the money.
Have a look at this. PulseChain is up 2,000%. It's literally free money. I don't know why you're not in it. At an APY of 40%, if you stake that, you're going to get a return of $150,000. I mean,
Not it.
You're lost.
I'm gonna get you at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I hate my life.
That's actually going around at the moment and it's getting viral. And I was like, PulseChain, and he said PulseChain.
Yeah, I mean, my point, I do agree with your take though, 43, that maybe the conferences aren't the best source of people. And I get what you guys are saying. I suppose my point is that things like Fartcoin and a lot of meme coins, they're kind of meant to be a joke, right? But I don't see that Hex is meant to be a joke, right? It's meant to be like your pension fund style. So I don't think the twerking and the jokey side of it matches up with the product that Hex is meant to be. I think that's where there's that kind of disconnect and confusion and misunderstanding. And for example, recently, probably a private thing, but I'll share it anyway. My girlfriend actually bought Hex a few years ago. She's actually a very, very serious investor in the stock market and everything. But I had to buy her out of a Hex because she got to the point where she couldn't take it seriously anymore. And I had to buy her out of that Hex. Now I could say that's her loss, but I bought her out of it.
Nice.
Did she buy the top and sell the bottom, Ross?
She bought high and she lost a fair bit, so that's probably a bit of emotion in there, like what women do. And I bought at a very, very cheap price off of her. Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah.
Well, that's maybe. Yeah.
Well, you know what? She have it staked. Sorry to delve, but was it staked or not?
Yeah, she's got it staked, but I just paid her in cash. The current price amount. She's used that to buy shares. So, but anyway, women can have slightly different things.
Is she going to buy you back if it goes to 50 cents or $1? Is she going to then come back and say, hey, can I give you that, that money back and then just have my stakes back? Is that gonna that that's we have to be that sometimes we the guys we get to be the buffer, don't we?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, good.
I found that World DeFi wallet on Archon, and they've been stacking ETH. So like 10 million ETH, $10 million worth of ETH, like bought like every other day. So they're up to $200 million worth of ETH, 67 million wrap BTC, some staked ETH, stables, Tron, Link, Aave, and then it gets sub millis. Well, maybe somewhere. I mean, how far do you want me to scroll? But I don't. Oh, here we go. PLSB. Is that like Pulse Bitcoin? $9.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, that must be enough.
Big spender there. Someone sent them $9.
Yeah, that
someone
was
trying to shill Pulse Bitcoin. Hey, look, Trump's buying $9 of Pulse Bitcoin.
That was Wolverine for sure, man. That would have been Wolverine. It's down bad with the $9 call. Hex, there's $34 worth of Hex there. That's random, but there's also like Titan X. Yeah, I mean, look, anyone can send money to these accounts, so it's very different to them actually buying it, and at scale, because it ramps up pretty quickly to hundreds of thousands and then millions of dollars. But yeah, so the reason why I'd show that clip was not to conflate Hex with being a meme coin, but to sort of say that its potential for virality is still there. Like there is a large community, and there's obviously those guys are pretty famous comedians, and they have gone viral before. They've done some really funny stuff, and I follow them anyway. And then
those
for
guys
someone
did the bank money one.
Yeah,
Dozza.
yeah, that was the funny one where he said, "What are you going to use his cash for?" He's at the teller.
Yeah, I've got to bleach my asshole, and
he's like,
cash out.
Did he say something like he cheated on his girlfriend and then he needed to buy her a handbag or something? There was like he gave all these like reasons why he needed to get cash out, like drugs or whatever, and that went viral. So so obviously they've gone, well, we need to mention a couple of cryptos here. And then so someone there, like a HEXican, has said, say PulseChain, bro, say PulseChain. So yeah, I think if there's enough of a community out there, enough people putting out content, the chance for it to go viral is still there. And then people like newbies who see that and want to buy PulseChain because it's mentioned in that video, they don't know anything about the outrage marketing. They don't know anything about they just see that and they go, oh, well, maybe it's going to go viral, so therefore I should buy it before other people buy it. That's all it is.
Yeah, and I think everyone is like waiting with bated breath for Ethereum to go up or whatever. Guys, we have to remember one important thing. What happens when money printer goes burr?
Yeah, more liquidity in the system, everything goes up.
So we're not quite there yet, but I think it's on the cards. Like I feel like money printer go burr is on the cards maybe later this year.
There was a few people that were Ivan on Tech and a few others that were maybe bullish that even though the sentiment was that the US Fed were not going to cut rates, they thought that they might just anyway, because Trump had kind of said, like there's that video of Trump, I could bring it up, but maybe you guys have seen it, where they're saying, that the US Federal Reserve is independent from government. So, and they're asking Trump, just because you say that they should cut rates, why should they cut rates? And he's like, yeah, I think they will. Like he just thought that they would just cut it because he said it. And obviously they didn't. And now, they're on his shit list, which is kind of funny. But everyone had sort of priced in the fact that they weren't going to cut rates. But there was a little bit of people kind of hoping that because Trump was in, they were going to cut, and then they didn't. They held.
Well, they went very hard before, like, was it just before the election? They did 50, and then they did a whole percent, didn't they, in one go? Or did they do 25 and 50? What did they do? I forget.
I think it was 50 and then 25.
50 and 25. Yeah. So they went pretty hard early. Maybe they're just waiting to see what effect that has. And
it's all a bit corrupt, I think, bro, because I reckon they went hard because they were trying to get the stock market to look good going into the election for the Democrats. And then now that Trump's in, they're like, why do we want to make him look good? There's a bit of politics there. So they're like, but they're playing a risky game because then, you know, they're trying to bring inflation down, but then it's that sort of that pivot from hawkish to dovish. If they don't get that soft landing right, and then in a couple of years' time, there will be some inevitable crash because of the whole, they've been pumping so much liquidity into the markets. Eventually it'll do its, you know, liquidity sort of crunch. Then they'll be able to point back to this point and say, well, it was because you guys didn't cut fast enough. Like, you know, so then it was actually the Fed's fault for causing the recession. So, but anyway, that's like future their problem. But right now, I think they're just being petty about it and they don't want to give Trump a win. I just want to quickly talk about some tech stuff, just real quick. There's a couple of cool sites that I've noticed. PulseSwap.io, you got to give it to these guys. I mean, you've got down the bottom, you can buy with a credit card using StealthX. So you've got like an on-ramp. And then this is an aggregator of aggregators. So if you're on PulseChain or whatever chain, it's basically a fork of DeFi Llama's Llama Swap. But it'll show you the different DEX routes that you could choose. So say you might say
it's an aggregate. It's like an aggregator.
Yeah, it aggregates. Yeah, but it shows you the different. So you can choose to go with this path or this path. And I guess it aggregates aggregators. Like maybe it will go through Proteus, and then or it will go through PulseX Direct, and a few others. So I've been using it, and it seems pretty sweet. And it's a good, like an easy domain to remember, like PulseSwap.io. You don't have to dick around with IPFS and all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. There's also this 9mm aggregator as well. So 9x.9mm.pro. They are also an aggregator, which routes through 9-inch, PulseX, Fux, you know, all of these sorts of things. But yeah, two pretty cool sites that people are obviously, you know, still building. And I think there was also this Atlas wallet that these guys were talking about launching, a wallet that would support cross-chain swaps between Solana and BSC, ETH, and PulseChain, and a few others. I mean, Internet Money Wallet, I think, already does that anyway. But yeah, pretty cool to see other wallets come around.
Yeah,
supporting
absolutely.
PulseChain.
Absolutely. Hey, Dozza, can I take a second to just shout out to all of our listeners, all of our listeners, all of our watchers. You guys are awesome. In the last week, we have pumped over 1,000 subscribers to the channel, which doesn't seem like a lot, but in my opinion, that's unbelievable. Like it really is it really is a feat for us to get over that number.
We did it.
We were struggling with it for quite a while. We finally got over 1,000. We finally got over that number, and it's just nice to be over the 1,000 subscriber market. It feels like some level of legitimacy, you know, to be in the 4 digits. But yeah. And I just want to say thanks to all of the listeners and the watchers. You guys are awesome. We appreciate it when you guys participate and write in the chat, write your thoughts, write your questions. Hold us to account when we talk shit, which is a lot of the time. But yeah, you guys are awesome.
I noticed someone did hold us to account the other day on the Aussie stream, and shout out to their comment and they said, because I was doing that playlist, the Aussie Day playlist, and someone said, where was the AC/DC? And I was like, bro, what was I thinking? So then I made sure to put a couple of AC/DC tracks in there. So the Aussie Day playlist is still there if you guys want to pump some Aussie tunes.
I actually went and put in, like, I made a change to it. I hope you don't mind. I went and put like Run to Paradise first.
Oh, nice.
because not because I don't like Great Southern Land. I just thought, it's like when you make a mixtape. You like Great Southern Land is a great song, but it's not the first. I don't think it's the first song on a mixtape. You know what I'm saying?
Like, about the order. I was just randomly adding tracks while drinking beer. Like, keep in mind. So I wasn't.
Yeah.
Order.
I know. It was very much like that. So, but then I just thought that's a song that needs to be in there, in my opinion. So I put it first.
Oh yeah.
We need something that will get that people will go, oh, this is nice. This is nice.
Awesome.
Something easy.
Yeah, no,
easy
well done. There's some good tracks on there, man. I like that playlist. So yeah, it's pretty cool. What is up, DJ Cryptomatic? He's also got some cool tracks as well. So check out him on Twitch. Always popping the party tunes. And yeah, Bitfinesse, exchange listing are just another outlet to sell. That's an interesting point as well. Look at that, assets on exchanges. Are their prices better? Haven't seen evidence exchanges do anything positive price. I mean, particularly if you have to give them a whole bunch of tokens, it's like, and then they're selling them. It's like it is almost like they're adding sell pressure. But the interesting thing is that with the
screwed us over.
Oh, Mexi.
Yeah, so they raised all this money for a listing. They listed it for 3 months, and then they just like took the money and ran, and probably dumped the coin. Like, I don't know what they did, but it just goes to show you can't trust these entities, and it's probably it's good if they want to do it, but it's not as lucrative as we shouldn't assume that it's awesome. Do you remember that storm rake? There was a guy. There's a guy on Adam Stokes' channel called Bish. And I'm sure that that's a great service. I've never actually used it myself. I'm sure it's a great service. He's a broker that you can speak to, and they'll buy the crypto on your behalf. It's a centralized type thing. It's not really crypto, but they will do all that stuff as a broker.
That lasted about a week or something, didn't it?
They lasted very short amount of time. So I'm just interested. Like, I wonder why. Maybe it's because the price can move so quickly.
Oh, it's volume. It's volume, man. They just want to make fees. They want the turnover. They just want to literally crank through the volume. I mean, it's like any business, really. It's like throughput. You make money in volume, so you can have tighter margins if you can have higher volume. So yeah, I think their business model is about getting people through the door in scale, and otherwise they're not interested. They don't care about the reasons why we think it's a good chain. I just want to quickly say, there was something here. Oh yeah, it's hard to get into Hex now if Pulse was listed. Yeah, so you only really just need the Pulse to be listed. That because Solana has that where you have just Sol listed, and then you can send Sol to your Phantom wallet, and then you could just in the wallet you can buy any shitcoin through any DEX in the wallet in Phantom. That's how I reckon most, like 99% of noobs would do it. It's not how I do it, but that's how I reckon most people would. So that's what you need is you need PulseChain on Phantom, and you need a SEX with PLS. You send your PLS straight to your Phantom wallet, bang, and then it just uses PulseX in the background. But you do the in-wallet swaps. I reckon that's how you get mass adoption.
I use I don't know about what you guys know much about Change Now, but a couple of friends, they bought Pulse and I believe Hex just on Change Now. They just put their. Have you used Change Now before?
I have, but it's a little bit low, like the caps on how many dollars you can use to buy. It caps out at like $1,000, like $1,000 or something. Or in the times that I've gone to do it, it's like it's fine for small amounts of money. But
Dozza's a big spender.
No.
High roller, VIP.
Yeah,
that's right. No, but and the fees as well. Like it's hard to go past the PulseChain bridge when you got 0% fees to bridge in. The gas isn't that bad, and then you sort of go, well, hang on, 0% fees versus how many fees? How much in fees?
Change Now does actually charge high fees as well, but it was very simple to do it. It didn't have to go through exchanges or anything. But yeah, it was a small amount. Yeah.
Oh look. True Blue, long-time listener. in the chat here. No, he's obviously
What's
busy.
happening,
So
True Blue?
he'll
True Blue's
be
on the road. Is he on the road?
Not sure what he's up to. So no dramas, but thanks to you guys for helping me out. Having hedges real, dealing high risk assets, consider a little bit of BTC, ETH, Sol, or SUI. Yeah, that's an interesting point. I agree with that. In terms of like a hedge or things like that, one of the things to look at is it's just pricing things in terms of BTC. Like if you've got BTC and then you're thinking, well, is this asset outperforming BTC as like a low risk hedge, and then so you might look at like Sol BTC, SUI BTC. SUI BTC has actually been going down. So then it's like if you were choosing your hedge and you're thinking, well, SUI or Sol, if that's what you were doing, then you can easily put it on the SUI Sol ratio. And so SUI's been going down versus Sol since, and I think I talked about this. Like I was like, it's broken down the 20 MA. And so you would be rotating your SUI into Sol at this point. And then maybe you might be arguing that this was a support that broke down. But yeah, it would have to sort of close above here before you sort of rotate back into SUI from Sol, if that makes sense.
And
so yeah, those are things to consider.
Just out of interest, Dozza, I'm not a trader, but I hear that what traders do is they generally cash out back into BTC or something like that, not dollars or maybe even USDC, but they cash out back into BTC because BTC doesn't, well,
it depends on your risk profile.
Value. Right.
It depends on your risk profile. Everything as a ratio against everything else, So sometimes, for example, so I can give two good examples of this. So yesterday, someone bought a whole bunch of the Grays currency, the Grays currency. I always get a bit dyslexic with saying the TPDGTC or whatever it is, the Grays currency, TGC. Someone bought that coin with, I think it was like 10 million hex. And I was like, and I saw the hex alert and I was like, holy crap, they've just literally sold 10 million hex for this Grays currency. So then that ratio would have just swapped out. So because I had some Grays, I sold it back into Pulse, I think it was, or maybe it was in hex. I think it was into Pulse. So it's like you capitalize on that change in ratio. And so another example was during that DeepSeek AI thing, how I think a lot of coins had gone down, so ETH had gone down, but I think Pulse hadn't gone down as much. So it's like whatever the coin that's gone down. So say if the coins have gone down more against Bitcoin, like Bitcoin may have gone down, but the other coin's going down more, then you can rotate your Bitcoin into the thing and you're getting more of the coin that you were going to get. So you just play the opposite of the ratio. So like if you price Pulse in terms of ETH, and we can do that as well. Maybe I'll do that in the background, but you get what I mean. Like if Pulse becomes cheap in ETH terms, then it's a good time to rotate your ETH into Pulse. And then when Pulse becomes expensive in ETH terms, like, you might want to rotate a little bit back. So I sort of do it more like that. Then when it comes to the end of the bull market, you would be going to stables, I would say. But in the middle of a bear market, a lot of people, what they do is they ride meme coin pumps and then they rotate it into BTC because they know BTC is going to keep going for like 3/4 to, maybe even say 80-90% of the cycle is going to be BTC. And then at the end, it kind of goes into your mid cap, small cap meme coins sort of thing. That's how it's traditionally gone. So if you do get like a bubble on a meme coin and you make a huge profit, sell it into Bitcoin, and then you can ride the gains. So you're sort of doubling up, your ROI by taking profits of something and putting into something that is also going to go in profit. But when you get closer to the end of the cycle, that's when you got to start stacking stacking DAI or USDT, because it's
Aren't
not
they
a
changing
guarantee that
DAI?
Bitcoin.
Isn't DAI going to change to something else?
Sky, yeah. So there's USDS, I believe it's called, and that's like they want you to swap your DAI for USDS, and then they can freeze it like the other stable coins. But you don't have to do that swap.
So what's the alternative going to be? Look,
Just
all
leave it
this
in
stuff,
DAI.
all this stuff is just like, I wait. I wait in anticipation for the day when you can purchase things in crypto. Like the whole point of, I think eventually, I mean, right now it's great as a speculative asset. I would like one day for people to be able to just spend crypto and businesses accept it.
I mean, you can, to be fair. I think MetaMask is coming up with a new MasterCard where you can pay.
That is not exactly what I'm talking about.
No, but I mean that you
not
can
talking
spend
about
crypto using
being routed
MasterCard.
through. No, but the point I'm trying to make is that I'm not
I
interested
see.
in it routing through dollars.
Okay.
I'm talking
Yep.
about they want, like, I don't mind if it routes through crypto. Like, so they want Bitcoin and you've got, PulseChain, and then you go spend it and it just automatically routes through whatever it has to route through to get to Bitcoin and then spends it. But the whole routing through dollars, through the legacy traditional systems, whilst they work, it's sort of not what I'm hoping
Look,
for.
There are things out there you can purchase with just crypto. Like I know, for example, there's that PLSX site where you can buy flights and accommodation and things using crypto. Obviously, I think Richard's bought like Lambos or Ferraris, I should say, with crypto and other things with crypto, the world's largest diamond. So there are things that will accept crypto. But in terms of like for the masses, having, I think, a payment rail like MasterCard, the MetaMask thing, or I think Bybit has another one, might have like a Visa equivalent card where you can sell from your exchange. You can have it so that you can use the card like a Visa card and actually be selling crypto, and you getting charged like heaps of fees, obviously, right? Like for all the conversions from whatever it is, ETH to USDC, and then from USDC to USD, and then from USD to AUD, and then they charge you fees on top of fees. So that's why it's not a good idea.
Middlemen.
Yeah, and then all plus they've got your coins
middlemen
anyway because they've got your keys. Yep. So it's a bad idea. But I guess it's like you have to start somewhere, and then slowly the stigma of crypto goes down, and over time maybe people look. There were people in the last bull market. I think there was a mattress salesperson who would accept Hex as payment, like for mattresses. That was because he was a HEXican, obviously. That
we need and someone to sell a house for Hex. That's what we need. I think that's the next marketing thing that we need. Someone did that with
Bitcoin. Someone did that with Bitcoin recently in Australia.
Yeah. So it would be great to have that. It would be a great marketing thing if you just actually said that you wanted, you wanted Hex or you wanted PulseChain for a house. I'm sure you can do it. Like I don't see why you can't do it.
Yeah. It's a liquidity thing as well, and there's all sorts of other, again, volatility issue as well, because with settlement can take 3 months, and it's like on the day of settlement, it's like, what is the price? Like exactly, because it's like your house could be worth 10% less like later that day. That would be funny.
I went to a cafe there's a cafe in Brisbane. It's called the Crypto Cafe, and they take crypto. It's pretty cool. You got all these charts showing, the Ethereum price, BNB price. Yeah, it's called the Crypto Cafe, and they got the Tron hamburger and the Cardano schnitzel and all this kind of stuff.
That's wicked.
Kind of fun. Yeah. And the only disappointing thing is they do take crypto. They take all types of crypto, but they said in the last month only one person has paid in crypto. Everyone's just paying in cash. Yeah. Oh, dollars.
Yeah. That would be funny if you tried to pay in some illiquid shitcoin, like you've just got this like, Arbitrum Pepe or whatever. It's like, look, I've got $10 million. And they're like, hang on, it keeps getting declined.
Yeah.
Well, there's only 50 cents in the LP. It's been
Yeah.
liquidity rugged.
I mean, I think
Oh, that's
some of
cool.
it is I think some of it is-
HEXican. That's cool.
Yeah. I
Sorry,
think some
guys.
of it is
Go-
UI
go-
related as well. It's just you know what wallet and that would you use to tap to buy coffee? Like people don't. I don't think people are aware of what they would use to do that.
I mean, it makes sense to do it in stables. Like to me, if you're going to pay for things, because you can't be like waiting for a coffee and then it's like the price of the coffee is worth $10 and then now it's worth $5. Oh, now $7. I just paid 30 cents for my coffee. Yes, you know,
That's right.
it's like
It's
you'd have to have it in
volatility, but
stables.
it's the volatility, but it's also, you know, what wallet would people use to I mean, at one point I used Lightning Wallet on Blue Wallet, right? But then they decommissioned Lightning Wallet. So it's like, well, now I've got to pay in using a Bitcoin wallet, which is, as you say, notoriously slow and, you know,
10-minute block times. Yep.
Yeah, right. So, but the Lightning Wallet was cool. It was like tap and go. I bought a beer and a pizza with my Lightning Wallet, and it was tap and go. And okay, it's not immediately settled. I get all that, but it was still, you know, fun to try it. But now that Lightning Wallet has been decommissioned on Blue Wallet. So okay, so then what other, you know, people say to me, well, if I want to buy coffee or something, Ross, even if it is a cafe that offers crypto, what wallet would I use? Which, you know, people are just not aware of. I think it's an awareness and UI issue as well. It's an adoption. That's what's halting adoption.
I think Phantom Wallet is the most prevalent. And I think maybe if you're on Coinbase, there is a Coinbase wallet that's, and, you know, particularly in the US. But the other one is, I mean, MetaMask and, I mean, most of us use Rabby and that sort of stuff. But there's another one as well. I mean, because isn't there a Uniswap, like a uni chain coming out? I think they might be doing like a Uniswap wallet as well. So that might get some, but definitely Phantom, man. Like people just ignore the fact that Phantom is massive, and it kind of shits me a little bit because it's like, no, we don't need that. And it's like, yeah, it's a pretty obvious way to get, you know, massive eyeballs on PulseChain. Now Jexer said 40 days left to claim, so that's that airdrop. There you go. 40 days for me to find that wallet. What else we got here? No pressure. Australian.
Well, the way the price has been going down, mate, I think it's less than 40 days.
Yeah. I might have just said goodbye to that.
In 40 days, you'll be able to claim 40 cents.
Exactly. The liquidity is going down as well. What's UBI?
Universal Basic Income.
Oh, okay. Jesus. Okay. Clintrons, what is up? Good Arvo. Happy Friday. Yeah, thanks, man.
Shout out to HEXican and Clintrons, who I saw in the chat on Adam Stokes' show. And HEXican was like, he was, you know, making his arguments about, you know, the Hex ecosystem and Bitcoin and all this sort of stuff. It's always good. Yeah. It's actually a good chat because you know, people are relatively respectful because Adam Stokes he will just kick someone out if they're you know not being respectful. So it's
was that recently 43 he was on Adam Stokes show, because Adam Stokes had largely he got pummeled because of that Cardano. Was it the Cardano? Or no, the Richard Hart, you know, thing.
No, he was in the chat. HEXican was in the chat.
He was in a chat. Yeah, because
he was in the
I
chat.
asked to go on his show to talk to him about all the issues and, you know, with what Richard Hart being listed on the, you know, I won't say the word, but we know what we mean. And he got pummeled by the community, and he wouldn't have me on. He won't have any HEXicans on at the moment because he said that he got pummeled by the community, and he's taking Blake from it all.
Well, that was interesting that CZ from Binance just in the week had been targeted by the French government for aggressive tax evasion, if that's the word. But yeah, it's like, it's almost as if, I think 43, you said this, that the US had put CZ in jail and they'd got a bunch of money out of him, extorted effectively. So then now the rest of the world wants their pound of flesh. I think that was you that said that. And I was like, yes, 100.
Yeah. That's what's going on, because that's how the world works, unfortunately.
Everyone else is like, oh, well, it's like the Finnish government, and shout out to Finbear. What is up, bro? We don't hold you accountable much. But like, it almost seems like they've just gone, oh geez, it'd be nice if we could get our sticky mitts on some of those Bitcoin millions. And then they've gone, wait, what? There's a crypto billionaire that was in our country. Oh, he didn't pay any tax. Oh, well, we've got to get our tax for it. And it's like, bro, it's got nothing to do with you. Like, just because he was in your country, it doesn't mean he was a resident for tax purposes or whatever. But then they made it their business because it's like they wanted that money.
And also, the Finland has multiple double tax agreements. And what I mean double tax agreements, it's a double tax avoidance agreement that countries go into. They're bilateral agreements that both countries agree to, that if one person from one country moves to that other country, that they treat tax in a certain way, so that person doesn't get double taxed. So we can't assume, and nor should the given that the Finland is in the EU, no one should assume that Richard Hart, like, he may not be a resident for tax purposes in Finland. Like, he might have a house there, but if he hasn't spent, like, if their double tax agreement says 183 days or whatever it is, that if you're in a different place, he might have been in a different place for over that amount. So maybe it doesn't apply. Maybe he's bulletproof and rock solid on that point. And, he's got the receipts to back it up. So and maybe they've just put it on Interpol because, that's the corruption that goes on in Europe. I don't know. I'm just saying it's not necessarily the case that he has aggressively avoided tax in an aggravated style. Like, that is not necessarily what has gone down. It's just what they're saying has gone down, but they sort of have convicted him before he's had the trial, or you know what I mean? Like, the guy's innocent, completely innocent until proven guilty, I would have thought.
Yeah, I've always been a big proponent of that as well. I think people sling mud too easily, and then they think that therefore it's true. It's like anyone can just sling mud. Like, that doesn't mean shit. Like, it's you actually have to prove it, like, with evidence.
I wouldn't be surprised if people who know what's going on with the SEC and are on that side of the camp, they see the writing on the wall with the case, and they've gone rogue to try and mess with him in other ways. But I wouldn't be surprised, mate. I just wouldn't be surprised 100%. By that stuff. Let's not, he has gone hard at Gary Gensler before. He has gone pretty hard.
Yeah, true.
So, maybe Gary made a couple of calls and said, let's lock this big twerker.
Look, there is I was looking at that. There's RH on the Hex conference, one of his last things that he did on that Hex conference, and he specifically says, hey, SEC, if you're watching, and then he starts slaying them, saying he's done more stuff to protect people than they have. And he started and I was like, oh yeah, that probably was pretty provoking. So
the SEC have been an absolute disgrace for the last few years. An absolute disgrace. They have not done what they're supposed to do. When it comes to crypto, they have not done what they're supposed to be doing.
He's 100% right. When they're saying they're trying to protect people, but they're not. They're actually, and then they were taking money from, I think it was the SBF, the FTX thing. Oh no, it was another one. There was some hack or some scam or something. It was a Bitcoin thing, and he was talking about it, and then he was saying that the SEC had taken out some funds, and then that was actually funds that was meant to go to the people who were victims from it. So they're actually hindering rather than helping. But anyway, I just quickly wanted to talk about this Bulltard comment. If you want more subscribers to Moon Math, it's like crack for Crypto Crowd. True.
Like crack. That is true. Let's do some Moon Maths. Let's do it.
It's true, and I'm for it, and I don't mind doing the Moon Maths. But you got to
do a
recognize
hypothetical.
that. Well, let me just say, I've thought about this a lot. Like, if you really want to do the crypto banter sort of style thing, where you just shill coins and then you give moon targets, and then, or you go maximum fear and things like that, you probably get more viewers because you're playing with that dopamine sort of thing. But I feel like it's being dishonest, because they're picking these targets that are just ridiculous targets, and then they're actually doing something even worse, which is they're taking free allocations and then shilling some illiquid coin and then dumping on the viewers simultaneously while telling them that it's going to go up. So that's pretty deplorable in my book. But yeah, I recognize that is a way to get more viewers. If we wanted to, we could make these streams a lot shorter and then just like claim that everything's going to go up. But I feel like that would be a bit disingenuous. So I'm not actually in it for the subscribers. I'm actually in it to,
I agree with you, Dozza, a little bit.
Real,
I think it's a very predictable way to do it. It'll be the same as so many other channels out there. It's a bit of a balance. You can have a bit of fun with that from time to time.
I don't mind.
Absolutely, but not focused.
Let's try some crack. Come on, let's try the crack.
Yeah, so I don't mind doing it as like for a bit of laugh or whatever. But the thing is that I don't get paid for this, right? So I don't actually care if we have 10,000 subscribers or 1,000. Like, so it doesn't make any difference to me. So like, it's nice.
Every extra subscriber gives me a hit of dopamine, right? So every so I need you to subscribe. It helps me live my life.
Make you
helps
feel
me
better.
Wake up in the morning.
That's cool. All right. So what are we talking then? Are we gonna talk some moon maths? Because
So this is what I reckon. Like, just imagine hypothetically, this is not hypothetical. Hex did do 10,000x in the last cycle, right? So what would be wouldn't it be awesome if Hex did 1,000x from the bottom in this cycle? Wouldn't that be cool?
Yep.
Like, so hypothetical, like, is that so? What would that be? That's
it was 4036, I think, roughly
36. So what's 1,000x?
Do you know
there would be $3 and probably $3.69. $3.69. I'm just gonna say.
Hang on a sec. That can't be right. 1,000x, did you say?
1,000x.
Well, if it's like 4, this wouldn't it just be like 103?
That's
like
if it's 0.0036.
No, it was 4036.
Hex.
Oh, you're talking about Hex. Sorry, bro. I'm talking about Pulse.
Yeah.
I was saying Pulse was 4036. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So 1,000x from there, $3.69. I think if that happened, which is incidentally, that is 10 doublings from the bottom as well. So it's roughly 10 doublings from that from the bottom. So if something like that was to happen,
profit calculator, there's a profit calculator on pulsecoinlist.com. We should just call this the moon calculator. So if your buy price, here we go. So what are we saying?
Is this for PulseChain or for, hang on, is this Hex or PulseChain? Yeah, throw it to Hex.
I can put Hex. Yeah.
Ooh, Hex PulseChain. Yep.
Yeah. And then so buy price, what were you saying?
0036.
Yeah,
we're putting the
bottom.
Yeah, that was the bottom.
And then so say you put in, I don't know, $1,000, and then you're selling it for what price?
$3.69.
Okay, so
that would be $1 million.
Then investment fees. Yeah, so that's $1 million profit. I've never used this calculator before.
Listen, man, I'm just saying, like, it's a nice round number that would get a lot of attention. And then after the negativity that this ecosystem has seen in the last 3 years, and the down that we're seeing, and the death and destruction, and the chaos, and the demolishment of everything, for it to come back and do something like that, it would make it almost, it would just instill a sense of confidence in the token for the following cycle. You know, people would then automatically come out and say, hey, Hex is going to do 100x in this cycle. Like they're going to, do you know what I mean? Like people.
Well,
would come
see,
out and
the way
say
I
that
like to
shit.
look at this is an interesting one. This is interesting because if you needed the 1000x on $1,000 to get your $1 million, right? Then you need the price to go to $3.69, right? But let's say you put in 10 grand, right? Then you only need it to get to 36 cents, right?
Yeah.
30. Oh,
By the way, I actually think that this cycle for Hex is going to be a blow off top.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a huge blow off top. So even if the top was $3.69, chances are that most people would not be able to sell the top. And, you know, maybe people comfortably get to sell, you know, $1 something, maybe, or maybe it doesn't get to $1. But I think it's going to be blow off top. That's my opinion this cycle.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what I love about Hex that's just so different to every other crypto is that with most cryptos that you buy, you're basing it on, say, $1,000. It goes up 10 or 100x and you make X profit. But with Hex, because you've got the staking component as well, it's not just about just the price of Hex. It's about how much you're getting in yield on top of what you staked. If you choose to stake, that is, you don't have to stake. So that's what I love about Hex, is that it's also about how much Hex you have that gets you the real gains, not just, you know, it's a combination of the price and how much Hex you're getting through yield as well. That's unlike any other crypto, really, because the Hex yield is so good, you know, and I think that's something that a lot of people miss.
Yeah.
A lot of
100%.
people dismiss it. They don't just miss it, they dismiss it. They dismiss it because, and I understand, like, it's not like I don't understand why people don't want to stake. It's because they don't, like, if they stake, they're like, then if I need the coins, if I need to sell the coins, or I need to sell the tokens, I'm not going to be able to, right? But I think the point is that it's to stop you. It's like, that's a short, you shouldn't lock up anything short term, in my opinion. If you're going to do it, if you believe in the Hex, like the thesis that underpins Hex, then you should be thinking long term anyway, and try get the bang for your buck in terms of T-shares. Like, if you believe in that thesis, because the thesis is the longer you lock it up, the more you get.
Yeah, you can also do ladders as well if you want to do that. If you want a cash out option, you know, you don't have to stake it all for 10 years, but each to their own, I suppose. But yeah, you can do a balance of both. You know, you could have 10-year stakes and some, you know, smaller cash outable 3-year stakes, you know.
Or multiple of 4-year stakes if you think that it's a 4-year cycle. Just quickly, before I put this calculator away, so I was sort of saying, well, you know, if you had Hex on PulseChain, it was 0.0369, and then if you put in whatever it was, 10 grand, and it went to 13 cents, I think, and it was like $1 million. So, but then, you know, okay, well, that's great, but you can't buy it at 0.0369 now, but you can buy it at 0.1381. So then, you know, to get $1 million, what price would you have to get it to? And it's at, say, like 30 grand, you'd only need it to get to previous all-time high, or not even to get that million. So if you think it can go back to previous all-time high, then the number is, you know, that you need to put in as principal today would be 30 grand. So you can play with the calculators and things like that to sort of say, how much would I have to put in and at what price would I have to get out to, you know, but be careful of round numbers is the only thing I would say, is because I've seen a lot of people going for like a round number, like with that Trump coin. And that guy was telling me that, because I said that it was going parabolic and that if it gets rejected, like it's over at $72. And he was saying, oh no, Trump will want to see it get to 100. And I'm like, what? And then, they obviously probably round tripped that, waiting for it to get to $100. So you don't have to get round numbers, but obviously the more you put in, then the less you have to, for it to go up before you can exit. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Is there any other, there was so much chat here. I couldn't keep up with all of this stuff. Class called me a trailer park whale. That's funny. It's okay. She's allowed to. She's my wife. Oh, Nick Eddy has all H coins, but never used it personally. Oh, what was that?
He never spent with it. I think he means. Is that what he means?
Oh, okay.
I
Possibly.
think that's what he means.
Was he talking possibly about an exchange, some sort of exchange, or
I think he said
some sort of
got the
service?
RH coin, but he's never used them to buy anything. I think that's what he means.
Yeah, possibly. PTGC is caning ass, according to Sammy. So that's good. Yeah, that was that. There was a big buy last night, but that chart does look pretty good. What is up, Red Squirrel? What is going on? We haven't seen Fast Abdul today, so but good to see you, Red Squirrel. Yes, a few people have been bullish on the PTGC. I noticed there's a bit of talk about. I guess it's like whenever PDI goes up, and the People's Bitcoin goes up, and then you just hear it left, right, and center. You just get swamped. So maybe that's why we're hearing it. Maybe it's a top signal of the Grays currency, but I don't know. That community is pretty strong. I haven't seen them dump. Like, there's been a few opportunities for them to dump it, and it just keeps going. So,
guys, I've got to get off now because I've got to go for a drink with my friend. He wants a Negroni with me, so
nice. Enjoy that. I like a few Negronis. Yeah, I'm an old-fashioned man.
Cheers, Ross.
I'm an old-fashioned man myself, but
I'm a bit of a Negroni person over the last couple of years. I love a Negroni. It's my new discovery. So,
whiskey sours, old-fashioned though. You can't.
Yeah.
It's good. Old-fashioned.
All right,
Enjoy,
guys. It's been
bro.
a fantastic discussion today. So hope to see you again soon.
Thanks for coming on, man. Really appreciate it.
All right, cheers.
See you later, Ross. Cheers,
mate.
See you, Ross.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Yeah. So there's heaps of I don't get good vibes from Beer Short Sexy channel. There's heaps of comments here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch up with all of these, but thanks so much for everyone for commenting. Lots of vids, to be fair. Rather spend their
can you not go through them, mate? I think people put the effort to type, mate. It's
yeah, I can, but some of this stuff is
who
like
else is in that?
Sammy and Claire's having a chat, so I don't like to just sort of, go through everyone's, if it's like personal chat going back and forth. But yeah, HEXican, I've seen accepting crypto for my electrical business since 2018. Only 2 people have taken me up despite offering 20% discount. Interesting. Yeah, and then so Lockstocks,
that's cool.
Most crypto holders would rather spend their fiat and keep their crypto. Now that could be a good point.
This is true, man. Right now, that's the case because it's such a speculative asset class. But like you would think that at some point in the future, you would think that
like the Bitcoin pizza guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a classic example from Sammy. Like, you're thinking, oh, we'll just sell a bit of Hex or whatever to pay for this, for an electrician. And then you think, oh, hang on, did that just cost me like $1 million if Hex goes back to all-time high? So yeah, it is a little bit risky.
It's a lot. It's a lot. How much was it? Was 10,000 Bitcoin, wasn't it?
The pizza thing? Don't know.
It was 10,000 Bitcoin.
Oh man, that's hard to come back from. Like, shout out to the pizza guy. Everyone knew who he was.
It's $1 billion, right? That $1 billion pizza.
Oh god, his wife must hate him. That's horrible. She'd just be. Every time they have an argument, she'd just bring it up. Well, at least I didn't buy a $2 million pizza. You're like, those are some expensive.
Like, damn it, you're right.
If you hadn't have spent so much money on that pizza, we would have money, bro.
Had I not spent so much money on that pizza, I would have had wife-changing money, biatch.
Oh man, that's hard to come back. You'd like lose every argument. Someone would just be like, yeah, good point, but you also bought like a $2 million pizza. So
$1 billion pizza. $1 billion pizza.
You can't live that down, eh? You just have to just change your name.
Listen, we're assuming we're making a grave assumption here that he sold his whole stack for that pizza, Like, did he not keep anything
I've
at
seen
all?
a few interviews with him, and his house doesn't look that great. I know that's a bit harsh, but it's like if he had kept a lot of Bitcoin, you would have thought his house would be nicer.
Yes,
maybe
possibly.
Although maybe he's just like smart and he's like, I'll get the interview in. This is my slightly less opulent house. And he's got like 5 other houses. He doesn't want people to know that he's actually stacked heaps of Bitcoin. Because you're right. Like if he had that much Bitcoin to spend on a pizza, maybe he's just got like tens of thousands of Bitcoin somewhere. And he just wants everyone to think that he's poor. That would actually be the smarter way to do it. Because yeah, that's the thing. But then you also get the guys like that guy who sold all his hex, and he did that live stream. I can't believe I sold all my hex, man. Remember that guy?
Yeah, yeah. How many hex was it? 16 million hex or
He was selling millions of it.
It was a lot.
And he even gave you the play-by-play. He was like, I sold it here and I thought it was going to go down lower, and then it just went up. And then I thought I'll wait for it to crash down and I'll buy again. And then it went up. And then he justified his emotions of why, like it ran away from him basically.
He got left behind.
He got left behind. He was at the train station just waiting, and then was it? And then the X train just left. It's like, well.
So, Bitcoin back then was probably worth about 0.3 of a cent or 0.4 of a cent, depending on how much pizza was back then. So, that's sort of like where the bottom for Hex was this cycle. But yeah.
There's some good points in the chat here from Sammy and HEXican there. PulseCoin list ranking has Hex at 22, PulseChain 24. Oh, okay. So that's if I go to their main, this is pulsecoinlist.com on the token rankings. So if you go like all crypto, oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Much better than CoinMarketCap, which we know gatekeeps the rest of us. So if you're saying, so Hex is now 22 in terms of market cap, and Pulse is 24. Yeah, that's kind of encouraging, because you're kind of thinking, well, it's PulseChain's higher than Nia and higher than Pepe and whatever, Aave. And then you can climb. I remember we watched it climb the rankings back when we used to have Nomics. Do you remember that? And the last cycle, and we were like, or even before, and you'd see it climb the rankings. Remember good old Nomics?
I remember Nomics, man.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have a ranking site that was built by our guys. That was not.
Well, this is it.
I know, but the problem is that a regular person is not going to come to Pulse Coin List. Because
good point.
Because you want something to appeal to everyone.
Look,
but I love this site. By the way, I'm not throwing shade at this site. This site's awesome. I've used this site. I
like this site.
Use this site.
And
I love it. It's
I like
a great
that.
site.
Did you see that has a SOMI mode? So you can be looking at like the Pulse coins or whatever, and if you click SOMI mode, it tells you what the PDI and PRAT-BTC and Dick with Bart prices. You got to click the SOMI mode. But yeah, I mean, it shows that they did that because people tweeted about it. But maybe they could have different tickers in different people's ecosystems, and you could click that and show it or whatever. Or I like the fact that you can exclude the OA as well. Like that's like a nice. Because if someone were to say, oh, but what's the market cap without the OA though? And you go, oh, well, here, you just click it here, exclude.
This is a site designed for RH ecosystem. It is like specifically designed for the RH ecosystem users, which is
that's a pretty
awesome,
big difference. So, because sometimes you could have arguments go both ways, right? Some people could say, oh, but why would I buy Hex on PulseChain? Because it's already got an $8 billion market cap. And you go, yeah, but if you take away the OA, that's actually only 1.2 billion. So it's like people think, oh, it's priced too high or something in terms of market cap.
How awesome it would be for a new site to come up that sort of rivaled the CoinMarketCap / CoinGecko sites, and just be like at the top of the search. When you go search on Google, or when you go search on whatever search engine you use, it just comes up at the top. It would be awesome, because then they could see, and I'm not saying like for it to list Hex or Pulse anywhere where it shouldn't be. It should be listed according to where it is, right? Where it's supposed to be. But it would be cool if something like that was out there. The other thing that's cool that I really like about RH ecosystem stuff at the moment is that new software that was released by, was it Luna Gray or Luna Shard or
Luna Shard? Yep, I think. Yeah.
Luna Shard, yeah. I think that's awesome. That's a step in the right direction for usability. I think it's still early days with that. It's going to get better, but that's a great place where someone hopefully in future will be able to go and just like have a one-stop shop for interactions with anything to do with, PulseChain and RH ecosystem stuff.
Yeah, that's wicked. Yeah.
How long have we been going, mate?
Just over 2 hours, so we can wrap it up. I just wanted to get through these last bit comments, but if you want to disappear, then that's cool, bro, and I'll just wrap it up. I'll go through these comments as well. Do you want to stick around?
I've got 5 minutes, man. It depends.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I was just going to. So Sammy's got some moon maths here. PulseChain to 5 cents. There you go. You heard it here first.
Nice.
PTGC to 50 cents. Okay, we'd have to have a look at that chart if to see whether where that is from where it is now. Which hex? I think she's talking about Hex on PulseChain, but I could be wrong. Ink to $800. God damn. Wow. Sammy is bullish on Ink. You got to give it to her. She has been consistently bullish. I'm just like,
how many X is that? Like, what is it right now? Is it like 182 or something, or 180?
Look, I will only be fudding my own bags if I start talking about where I think the Ink price will go. But yeah, a lot of people do like it. So
it's like a 450X from here. Sammy's bullish.
That's peanuts for these guys. Alex G, can someone confirm I have 32 ETH and solid stake to have a chance of getting rich? This sounds like a scam comment. If I have a 32 ETH and solo stake, 32 ETH is huge. Do I have a chance of getting a big ETH block if ETH gas is super high? Kind of like the lottery. Maybe it's legit comments, so apologies if it is. Sometimes I can't tell.
32 ETH is like equal to 1 Bitcoin at the moment, pretty much.
Okay, there you go. So I know recently Home Bitcoin Miner just mined a block, and it was like, once in a lifetime odds of a single, home miner actually mining a block. But it just happened recently. So it does happen. In terms of a single like validator with 32 ETH getting a big ETH block, I think it's low odds, but it does happen.
That new Jexa comment is can you throw that up?
Sure. I just wanted to say shout out to Don Swan. He's from Melbourne earlier, and he said about the good weather that they're having over there. G baby. So that sounds like
what's up, Don?
One of those Atropa coins. Paul Zombie carrying low on dopamine. Yeah, well, everyone is, bro. Like, it's like after the Trump inauguration, and then the sell the news, and then the deep search fake AI thing. I think everyone just kind of went down a bit. Oh, there you go. So that was the moon call on G baby. Oh, here we go. Stephen K is bullish on SHX. I have not heard of that. B Roots was shilling some things. Sounds right. Shouldn't be talking about EHEX on this back. Ooh, controversial. I'm trying to get to this Jexa comment, but there is so many comments here, and this is controversial. Yeah, okay. I tend to agree with you, but also, like, say the case gets dismissed, like on jurisdiction grounds, and then it's all over the media, and everyone kind of goes, Hex has beat the SEC. There might be some percentage of people that just go on Ethereum and just buy Hex because they don't even know that there is Hex on PulseChain. So, yeah, you have to consider some of these things.
I think that might happen, actually. I've got a feeling that could happen.
Yeah, so like put your limit orders in on whatever CowSwap or things like that, because you never know. People might just fat finger a buy. I mean, there's a fair bit of liquidity, I think, now on the Ethereum side as well. There wasn't for a long time.
Yeah,
because most of the EHEX liquidity was on PulseChain.
It's a tough thing. It's like the whole immutable contract thing. It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? I mean, and I prefer that. I really do prefer that, because you don't want to have someone to be able to mess with it, and be able to turn it off, because then there's that, risk of centralization from that perspective. But look, it is what it is. That Hex on Ethereum, as long as Ethereum exists, it's going to exist forever. And people are, the ticker's there. It's the same ticker. So, we can't stop it. If people go in and buy it, they buy it. It is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Ben should have got the thin crust. Would have saved him a few Bitcoin, you reckon? Oh, that's a good one. Good to me. SOV and a hedge against inflation. Yes, good point. Good point. Hopefully he didn't add pineapple. Yeah, the extra toppings would have been like an extra $1 million. Oh fuck, that's so funny, but sad as well. So yeah, there's a lot of comments about pizza here. Shouldn't be too hard.
Man, I love pizza. I fucking love pizza.
Who doesn't, bro? Like it's the ultimate.
It's so bad though. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah. Well, actually, to be fair, like I've been getting just mad into just like meat and just protein and stuff lately. So it's like even when I have pizza, I kind of like think, where's the meat? Like I need some meat. It's like it's too bready.
If you have like, like a good Italian pizza where it's
I love
good
pizza. Yeah, smash it.
And then they've got some like prosciutto on top, and maybe some mozzarella di bufalo.
The buffalo mozzarella. Yes.
Yeah, all that good stuff, and then it's just like, whoa, this thing tastes so good, and it's like, and it's so bad for you though. At the same time,
it's all right. Once in a while, everything. What do they say? Everything in moderation, even moderation itself. So you can't just be
that is
always just sort of doing the right. Sometimes you need a bit of pizza, like a couple of beers.
Just wrote 31 people having pizza tonight. Yeah,
that's
a bit like that.
We're just talking about it. That's funny.
Yeah. All right, let's wind it up, dude.
Yeah, bro. I'm just trying to see if we get to the bottom of this. ICP will kick off soon, maybe. Jexar, you said the last comment. Tesla's getting a blocks pretty low. 500,000 validators, I think. We've bought ink at $80. Ooh, stop adding comments. These guys have to go. That's so funny.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Yeah, he needs to go eat some pizza, bro.
I'm starving.
Ginny Quinn, loving the pizza. Awesome, bros. Well, yeah, thanks everyone for joining us. 43. I hope you enjoy your pizza. I hope there's some pepperoni or some.
Don't buy it with Hex or PulseChain. Be warned.
That's it.
Don't buy your pizza with Hex or PulseChain. Dude, exactly awesome talking to you tonight, mate.
Thanks again for coming on. Appreciate it. Thanks, chat. Thanks, Replay Gang. Thanks for all the comments. Really appreciate it. I hope everyone has an awesome weekend. Cheers, guys.
Subscribe. Bye.
Enjoy your pizza. Catch you.